We are dear friends, nothing more, nothing less. You are welcome.
You're welcome, James Obiora. Thank you so much for joining.
There is a land that is full of natural resources. We take divided us during colonization. No, we are generous and industrious. Naturally, educationally, we are loaded. Mentally, you can check around the world. Mbano gakelele, mama, papa, can go see the French. Because gakelele, anywhere you from, around the world. Mbano gakelele, come and see who we are. Because gakelele.
Kim Jika Obiecha, thank you for joining.
You are welcome. Welcome to Biafra. It's over now you fall. Ever been a city, you are welcome.
John Wangene, thank you so much for joining. Please like and share. As you join, you like and share. As you join the platform, you like and share the broadcast. Like and share as you join.
Welcome to Biafra. Everybody see you are welcome.
Ikechuku Orujuafo, thank you so much for joining. Ikechuku.
We are dear friends. We believe in quality education.
Please share the broadcast as you join. You like and you share. Like and share as you join. Afure Emmanuel, thank you for joining. Share the broadcast, like and share as you join. Like and share before we start.
what you promised not to come to pass, that heaven and earth will cease to exist. You opened your mouth to bless mankind to the coming of Yahweh Yeshua, who came here and said, let your kingdom come on earth as it is in heaven. Those words can never be in vain because they are anchored upon your holiness and your magnificence. That is why in the end we know that Biafra will come, that these children that we have given birth to all over the world, and their children, and their children, and their children, as long as they give birth to them and they are Biafrans, they will worship you in truth and honesty. Through this very work we are doing, mankind will come to understand you. Let your miracle be wrought in our lives. Let us witness and behold your magnificence, your holiness, your mystery, and your grace under our command. O Lord of hosts, we call upon you. We call upon you to heal. We call upon you to provide succor to those of them who are inconsolable. We ask you to come and strengthen those who are weak. We ask you to restore hope where there is hopelessness. We ask you for inclusion where there is destitution. We ask you for one brotherhood, one camaraderie, one bone, one blood, and one flesh of your children. The Efiks and the BPOs, the Izon, the Shekiri, the Isobos, and also those of them from Isob. We are traveling all the way to the lands of Igala. We are moving on from there to Idoma, to Igede, to the territories of the Igbo land. All these places we dedicate unto thee. All these lands of yours, we ask you to cover it with your mercy. Because Biafra will come, and when it does, we will dance on the streets. I'm telling you, by the time that we are done, humanity will think that we are mad, we are drunk in your glory, and rightfully so, because your kingdom will come to rest upon this very earth. That very kingdom is the unadulterated, non-negotiable sovereignty of the Republic of Biafra, that your will may be fulfilled in our time. All this we pray, all these we ask for, in no other name apart from that name that belongs to you. He said,
Welcome, 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 welcome. Thank you so much for joining, wherever you're joining from. I appreciate everybody that have joined us on this very broadcast today. I appreciate you wherever you are connecting from. Wherever you joined us from, I say, may Chukwu Okike Abiama continue to guide and protect you. Any place you are connecting from, whichever part of the world you are joining us from, I say, may Chukwu Okike Abiama continue to guide you, protect you, secure you, and give you strength. Give you grace to continue to follow. Give you grace to enjoy the benefit of Biafra in your lifetime. As we have gathered to speak up again today to encourage each other, I urge you to share the broadcast. As I always say, sharing the broadcast, you are part of it. When you are sharing the broadcast, you are making it possible for us to overcome the attack. You know, the media, we are facing so much attack in the media. We are facing so much attack. The Janjaweed are making sure that our information doesn't go far. So many attacks from all angles, from all corners, a lot of attack. And the only way we can overcome all this attack is by your support. By your support. Your support is going to go a long way to give us the strength and power to overcome this very attack. And that support is by sharing. When you join the broadcast, you share and you click like. When you are liking, the algorithm of YouTube cannot be able to hold us down. They will not have no choice than to send notification to other people. So each time you like, you are sending notification to somebody to join us. That is why it is very important that you click the notification. Just click the thumb up, the like button, the thumbs up. Just click the thumbs up, the like button. When you show the like, you are actually doing a job, very important work. You are actually helping us to make sure that the information that we are passing goes far. Thank you so much. As you do so, I appreciate you so much. I appreciate every Biafran across the world, wherever you are, any place you are joining from, any part of the world you are connecting from. I say, may Chukwu Okike Abiama continue to guide and protect every single one of you as we have gathered once again to continue to preach the gospel of truth. That gospel of truth, that gospel that the enemy must hear, that gospel that is frightening the enemy, that gospel that is tearing the zoo apart. We will continue to preach that gospel. They can never stop us. And I remind everyone who is watching, if you are watching for the very first time, don't forget to click the notification bell. And before you do that, and as you do that, always remember that in this very platform where you are, this is an autopiloted platform, autopiloted by Chukwu Okike Abiama himself, under the spokesmanship of Mazi Simon Ekpa and on the leadership of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. That is where we stand. Speaking the truth always, the truth and nothing but the truth. We don't come here to preach lies. We don't come here to push propaganda. We don't come here to blackmail people. We don't come here to talk about irrelevant issues. We don't come here to push any form of false news. We come here to sensitize our fellow Biafrans, to let Biafrans know what is going on, what has to be done, when it has to be done, and how it has to be done. That is why I'm here. And today, I am here once again, more especially to notify Biafrans of the situation at hand, and again, to remind you that we must all be steadfast. We must remain focused. Do not allow anybody to distract you. Do not allow anybody to confuse you. Do not allow anybody to deceive you. It doesn't matter what you see. It doesn't matter what you hear. It doesn't matter who is involved. You must be focused. Always know that we have a common interest in our hearts. That common interest that we have, that we must protect at all times, is what? Biafra. The common interest that we have is Biafra, is freedom. And that freedom is connected to every indigenous tribe in the Zoological Republic, especially our Oduduwa brothers. We have a common interest with the Oduduwa brothers. Each and every one of us is fighting for one singular thing. We are asking for our freedom. We are asking for our freedom, and we will not allow anybody, it doesn't matter who the person is, we will not allow anybody to play with our freedom. We will not allow anybody to take away our freedom from us. We will not allow any man or woman to continue to play gamble with our freedom. And as long as you make yourself available to play gamble with the freedom of Biafra, we are going to make sure you are destroyed beyond recognition. If you make any move, as long as you continue to make any move to disrupt the struggle, to make sure that the Biafran do not get to the promised land, you are going to be destroyed beyond reasonable doubt, beyond repair, beyond recognition. We will do everything possible to make sure you go down. It doesn't matter what you think you are. It doesn't matter the title you carry. It doesn't matter whom you are. It doesn't matter how connected you think you are. We are going to make sure that you are being destroyed. And today, we are going to talk about a very relevant issue that you all know. The issue at hand. The mole among us. For a very long time, we have been keeping quiet for a very long time. Our spokesperson, more especially, have been silent, trying to give the mole opportunity to repent or change from his wickedness, but they refuse to change. He has refused to change. Instead, he is trying to convert more people to his own side and causing more problem. And the appointed time has come. That is why today you have seen our spokesperson, Mazi Simon Ekpa, have opened a new chapter. And in that new chapter, that is what we are going to dissect today and speak about it openly. So many of you know what I'm talking about. So many of you know who I'm talking about. And I don't like to call people's name on my platform because I feel that calling their names most of the time is an advertisement. I do not come here to promote or advertise anybody. What I promote on my platform is Biafra. And the only names that I mention on my platform all the time is Mazi Nnamdi Kanu and Mazi Simon Ekpa. These are the legitimate and truthful people you can hear the name on this very platform every now and again, because I personally working with them. I am working under them, and I'm following every full step they make because they are truthful, sincere, and they are pursuing the right cause. They are pursuing the right cause, which is freedom, the freedom of the Biafran people, my own freedom, your own freedom. That is why we must support them with all our strength. We must support them with all our energy. We must apply everything in our life to make sure that we support them and get on moving. We are headed into Biafra in 110 days. It doesn't matter what the enemy does. And the reason why you are seeing so many things you are seeing today is because these enemies, these imposters, these moles, these saboteurs, they know very well that we are getting to Biafra. And when we say we are going to Biafra, they know it's not a joke. When they hear Master Simon Ekpa announce going into Biafra in some days, they know there is a reality, something, and they are afraid. The only reason why you see them today working day and night, tirelessly coming online to talk trash and begin to peddle all manner of lies and propaganda is because they know very well, they know it better than you do, that definitely, that Biafra has become a reality. Biafra has become a reality, and no man born of a woman can stop Biafra. You can't. You can't. It's either you join the train or you let go. And if you decide to stand on the way of the Biafrans, you will be crushed. I say you will be totally crushed, and nothing will remain of you. Today you hear the exposition that our spokesman Master Simon Ekpa have been making. In those expositions, you are going to be seeing it. You don't just take it. I tell you, each time you listen to Master Simon Ekpa or you listen to members of Autopilot, don't just believe something because they say it. You have to apply your common sense. Think about things they are telling you and things you have heard and seen with your own eyes. These are the ways you can be able to get to conclusion and get the actual answers to the questions you're asking yourself privately and the one you're asking in public. It is very clear the mole we have had all this while in the legal team. And when we are talking about the legal team, remember, when we are talking about the legal team, we are not fighting against the legal team. We are not talking against the legal team. We are talking against the mole in the legal team. Oh, there is a particular mole, a particular informant, a particular saboteur that is sabotaging everything that is being done in the legal team. And he claimed to be the lead counsel. I am going to mention his name once. I will not mention his name again on my platform. Barrister Ifeanyi Ejiofor. From all he has been doing all this while, today it has become very clear his missions and objective. But my question is this: are we going to allow him to succeed in his plans? Shall we allow him to succeed in his evil plans? He will never succeed. Not while there are still somebody who is existing as a Biafran. He will never succeed. Not while the dragon has focused on making sure that he's being destroyed. He's not going to escape. As long as he stands in the way of Biafra people, he will never ever escape destruction. Every one of you have heard all the exposition that Master Simon Ekpa have made. They are all in line. These are things that you have known, but you never pay attention to it. Most of the informations that Master Simon Ekpa is dishing out are things you know, but you have failed. You have failed to live in word, or maybe because the length of our intelligence is not equal. There are some people who are more intelligent than others, and some things that we don't take serious. Some common things we take common are not common. It is from those common things that you get the reality of the situation. And today, we are digging into those realities. Those things that we ignored in the past can no longer be ignored. Every one of you today have realized that from the onset, that this man has been trying to play down the struggle. He has been trying to play down the struggle, trying to play down the direction and directives given by Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. He has been trying to play down the directives given by Nnamdi Kanu, and that is why I thank Chukwu Okike Abiam for Mazi Simon Ekpa. Every single word you hear from him, sometimes it is hard to swallow, sometimes it's hard to understand, but all I urge you is that pay attention, be silent, pay attention, be patient, and you will understand why he says what he says. When you are silent, when you are quiet, when you are following diligently, you will begin to understand why he makes every statement that he made. When Master Simon Ekpa told us that the Biafran people have resolved that we will not take any action anymore, will not take any instruction anymore from the DSS, people never understood why he was saying what he was saying. But today it has become clear why he said that. Because every information that have been coming out from the DSS said that Mazi Nnamdi Kanu say these people who are in charge of bringing this information have been neutralizing the information. They have been feeding us with falsehood. Instead, they have become a spokesperson to the caliphate. Every time when they come to write their statement, they begin to tell you that Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is in high spirits. Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is in good spirits. I begin to ask myself, how can somebody who is in captivity, somebody who is in the hand of the enemy, somebody who is in the territory of the enemy, be on a good spirit, on a high spirit? he cannot be on a good spirit. He painted the picture that Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is okay. Even before ever, if you can remember, before ever pressure began to mount on the zoo, it was when Mazi Simon Ekpa pointed out the fact that Mazi Nnamdi Kanu has been wearing one cloth. Why can't anybody ask, why is he wearing that cloth? And Mazi Simon Ekpa, on that broadcast, said, on the next court, make sure you send him code to change. Even if he on his own have decided to wear that single cloth, give him the variety of that cloth. Let him change that particular one and wear another one. And let's see. Only then and then did we realize that Mazi Nnamdi Kanu have been denied every of his rights. He has been denied every of his rights. And that was the beginning of the whole. That was when revelation began to come. He was not being fed well. He was not given his glasses. He was not given his praying materials. He was not allowed to communicate anyone. He is on solitary confinement. Only then and then did all this information begin to come out, because the dragon spoke. And we continued. The blackmail continued from their own side. They begin to dish out false information from all corners. False information. Begin to tell us how comfortable Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is. They begin to tell us Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is going to come out tomorrow. We have won, you have won. We have won, we won. But in all we have won, you personally have not won any case. Every time, all his statement has always been a distraction to divert the attention of the Biafran people to a different direction. Every single statement you have been hearing from this man, who called himself the leader of the legal team, have always been a negative one, just to calm down the Biafran people, instead of facing his job as a lawyer to stand for Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. He did not. He did not. And if this man was sincere and truthful, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu case has ended, would have ended long time ago, and Mazi Nnamdi Kanu would have been enjoying his freedom for a very long time. Mazi Nnamdi Kanu would have been enjoying his freedom for a very long time if Ifeanyi Ejiofor did what he's supposed to do, but he did not. When Barrister Ejimakor came out and said, the only thing you are going to use to make sure that every single statement made against Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is quashed is extraordinary rendition. A simple thing that he must do. Continue to pursue the extraordinary rendition of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, and that ends the whole case. Nigeria has no jurisdiction to try Mazi Nnamdi Kanu based on that extraordinary jurisdiction. This is very, very simple thing that is explanatory to anybody. When Barrister Ejimakor said that, it was very, very explanatory. But he fought against him. He began to take enmity with him, and he made sure that nobody talked about it. Until at a stage when it had become so evident that he's not willing to do anything, then Barrister Ejimakor left him with the Abuja court and went to Abia State to continue the case. Filed the case in Abia State. After all, that was where most of the crimes were committed. It was only then and then that it became clear that the only solution to the case of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu all this while has always been the extraordinary rendition issue. Ejimakor won the first case. He won the second one. And in winning the case, didn't just win the case, the judge said, send him back to wherever you brought him, and said that there is no court in Nigeria that has the jurisdiction to try him. That no court has jurisdiction to try Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. A judge said it clearly. And yet, they continue to play their games in Abuja. The victory that Mazi Nnamdi Kanu got in appeal court was still because of the extraordinary rendition. When Mike Ozekhome came and picked up that same extraordinary rendition issue to argue his case, he won the case hands down. And Mazi Nnamdi Kanu was discharged. All the cases against him was quashed and trashed. All the cases was dropped. And what did they do? They refused to obey the law. When they refuse to obey the law, what you expect somebody who has been claiming all this while to be the charge of the legal team, even when he is not? Because in the actual sense, San Mike Ozekhome is supposed to be the lead counsel. San Mike Ozekhome is supposed to be the lead counsel. He's supposed to be the one to speak at all times and give us the real information of what is transpiring. But each time after the court, you see him running to the social media or to begin to write trash, telling you how we have won and how we have not won. But personally on his own, he is watering the whole thing down. Instead of you to focus on your part, which is the legal side, to continue to pursue the legal means to make sure that Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is free. You did not. Instead, you were busy fighting against every single person who came to stand for Mazi Nnamdi Kanu on the legal section. You only wanted to make yourself a celebrity through the case of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. You begin to dine with the enemies of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. Begin to have meetings with the enemies of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. A meeting that you never told us the outcome. Every single person you mentioned that came to that meeting, they were all the people that coming out to tell us how Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is living a good life. Every single one of them that have attended a meeting with this very man called Ifeanyi Ejiofor, they are the people who has been coming out in one time or the other to tell us how good Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is living in DSS. What a shame. What a shame. And you claim to be fighting for Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. He started by bringing himself as the most trusted to Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. Whatever he says is final. That whatever Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is, he says, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu trust him to hell. That same Mazi Nnamdi Kanu gave you instruction on what to do and you refused it. On 2 occasions. On 2 occasions. Instead, you are busy dining and whining with the enemies of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. Today, you have become a spokesperson for the politicians. You have become a spokesperson for the politicians. Today, whatever the politician says is what you promote. The sit at home that the Biafrans are doing, civil disobedience, to play their own part. Civil disobedience, which is it is because of that civil disobedience that people can still hear about Mazi Nnamdi Kanu today. If not for the civil disobedience, long ago we would have stopped talking about Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. But that civil disobedience have made it that there is nothing you can discuss in the zoo without mentioning Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. Even in a period where election is being conducted, every one of you know what election time is. You know what happens during election period. It is a time that every other thing is shut down. They only talk about the election and their politics. It is a period where they roll out money, they roll out all manner of things, instruments, to make sure that people focus on one thing or another. But in this very time, the Biafran people have remained resolute in holding the sit at home, civil disobedience, to make sure that Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is released. And that very civil disobedience have gained us a lot of winning. And yet, you join the governors to talk against the sit at home. Each time you come to make a statement, you are making a statement to indict the Biafran people. And you call yourself a lawyer. Each time you make a statement to indict the Biafran people. Even when you know that the people that orchestrate the evil, the people that light the fire you see burning in Biafra today, is the military, Nigerian military. Nigerian military are the genesis of everything, every insecurity. Let me tell you, I cannot tell you there are criminals in Biafra land, and there are criminals everywhere, and they have been there all this while. There are people who are criminals, and let me tell you, good number of people today who have joined criminality in Biafra land, who have joined criminality, were not criminal before, and it was this same Zoological Republic with their military that pushed them into criminality today. So many families have lost their loved one. So many families have lost business. So many families have lost one person or the other. So many people, so many orphans are there in Biafra land today, simply because they identify as Biafrans. And what do you expect? You want them to fold their hand and continue to watch you take their life? And so many of them have taken up upon themselves to take vengeance. To take vengeance and fight for their loved ones. And they are fighting heavily. You never blame the Nigerian zoo for killing Biafran people. You never come to make a statement on the death of Biafran people, destruction of properties and houses of Biafran people. But all you focus on every time is to make Biafrans calm down. Trying to paint Biafrans as the aggressor. Trying to paint the Biafrans as aggressors all the time. Each time you make a statement, Ezigbo Mochineke. But who told you there are Ezigbo? Who told you what do you mean by Ezigbo Mochineke and Bado Mochineke? You have become a Fulani who creates division among Biafran people. And from every indication, from the onset, I knew that something was wrong. Today we have known that you disobeyed the order that Mazi Nnamdi Kanu gave the very first time. You disobeyed it and you begin to play your own. That was why when Mazi Samaneko was speaking, Mazi Samaneko said that there are people who betrayed Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, and there are people who were not among the betrayer, but after they heard Mazi Nnamdi Kanu betrayed, they begin to position themselves. They killed him, and they begin to fight for position, begin to fight for personality, begin to fight for one thing or the other, for their own personal interests. And that has made them a culprit in the kingdom of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. There are people who were not there in the initial plan. But when they saw that the plan have succeeded, now they forgot about Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. They forgot about fighting for Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. They began to fight for their own self, for their own personal interest, begin to position themselves as leaders in one place or the other. Instead of focusing on actualizing Biafra, instead of focusing on fighting for that man who fought for them. It is sad, but that's the situation. But I tell you, any place you're watching from, if you're one of those, you will definitely pay. You can't go free. You will definitely pay for every suffering that Mazi Nnamdi Kanu has gone through. For every suffering that Mazi Nnamdi Kanu has gone through, you will pay for it. You will pay for it. You cannot escape the wrath of the Biafran people. You can never escape it doesn't matter what you do. It doesn't matter what you say. You will never escape the wrath of the Biafran people, and you will not enter into Biafra land. It is not because we say it. It is the minds of the Biafran people, sanctioned by Chukwu Gabriel himself. As many as are saboteurs fighting against the actualization of freedom of Biafra people, you will never live to see freedom. You will not. In 110 days that you have, let me tell you, every one of you who have said over their dead body will Biafra come, every one of you who is sabotaging and fighting against Biafra, you have only 110 days to exist. Only 110 days to exist, and you will be no more. We are at the right time. A time where every stone will turn. A time where all angles and all routes will be shaken so that we can be able to have our freedom. No man born of a woman today can take us back to where we are coming from. The Biafra we are fighting for today is not a Biafra you're going to fight forever. It is no longer a Biafra that doesn't have a date. Today we have a date. Our countdown continues. It doesn't matter what you say, what you believe, or what you do. We continue our countdown, and Biafra will definitely come. Please, as you join, I urge you to like the broadcast as you're watching. Like the broadcast and share. Because as I always tell you, every information is important at this particular point in time. Every information is very important. As you are watching, if you have not clicked like, go and click the thumbs up. Thumbs up, like. It is very important. It helps us to reach out to more people. It helps us to beat the algorithm, and they will not stop us from broadcasting. Thank you so much. So, as I was saying, at this particular point in time, it is very important that every Biafran has to stay awake. As I always tell you, there is time for everything. There is time for everything. A time for war, a time for peace, a time to sleep, a time to be awake. Seasons at every time. A time to marry, a time to mourn. There is a time for every garden tent. But this time that we are in, it is a time of war. It's a time to stay awake. It is not a time to close your eyes and sleep. It is a time to be awake. Any place you are, always put your eyes on the ball. More especially our brothers and sisters in Biafra land. Do not allow anybody to deceive you. Do not allow anybody to. You see, to tell you how evil that these people are, that they don't have anything to offer. These people who are claiming to be Biafrans, who are claiming to be with Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, they have nothing to offer. You saw the tweets they were sharing all this while. You saw the tweets they were parading and sharing everywhere. That the Ejimako said, don't come in between them, the legal team. When you read that tweet, I don't know when the tweet was made, you will think that the Ejimako is talking to our spokesperson, Mazi Manepa. But that is not true. They try to make it look as if Ejimako was addressing our spokesperson, Mazi Manepa. They began to post that very tweet. That tweet was going viral. Everywhere you see, they were showing that tweet. But do you know that that tweet was made a year ago, in 2001? A tweet that was made a year ago. It is so sad. These idiots, these clowns, they think we are still in propaganda. They think that we are still in the time of propaganda. Mazi Manepa told them that I will be your end. Your end has come. Whether you accept it or not, your end has come. It doesn't matter whether you accept it or not. Your end has come. When Mazi Manepa told you, I will be your end, you thought it was a joke. Finally today, your end has come. Your end has come. If you don't know that, know it now. And every Biafran that is watching, when you see the things that are happening, you will know that these people have nothing to offer. They have nothing to offer except for blackmail. All this while they have been blackmailing, sending propaganda, pursuing, chasing away the genuine people who are supposed to fight for Biafra. They never allowed them to come close until Mazi Simon Ekpa came on board to put an end to all that they are evil. And today, their evil have been brought to an end. And they can no longer hide. They can no longer pretend. They can no longer, there is no hiding place for anybody that is not a genuine agitator. If you are not genuine in the struggle, I say it and I say it again. If you are not a genuine, even if you are in autopilot and you're not genuine, let me tell you, you'll be exposed. You are definitely going to be vomited out because you cannot enter into Biafra with such evil mind. And you can't stop us. You can't, if you try, make any attempt to stop Biafra, we will crush you beyond repair. We will crush you. We will so crush you that you will not be remembered in your lifetime. And I tell you, once the dragon remember you, you can never be the same. Today, go and check. You see while the charge and bail lawyer was talking yesterday, he was stammering. He couldn't be bold the way he used to be bold anymore. Because he knows what is coming. He knows what is coming. He knows what is coming. A lot of opportunity was given to him to repent, but he refused to repent. Instead, he was bent on destroying the struggle. He was bent on fighting against the legitimate cause, which is the freedom of Biafra. But it doesn't matter what they say. It doesn't matter what they do. It doesn't matter their propaganda and blackmail, wherever they're coming from. They cannot stop coming out Biafra. You can't. Only brute use also. And you cannot fight whom God have anointed. You can't fight whom God have anointed. What I'm urging every Biafrans to now realize, what I have been saying for a very long time, it is you and I that will free Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. Do not put your faith in anybody. Don't put your faith. Don't put your faith in anybody. And the legal team cannot make any progress except with you and I. Every single progress that we achieve, it is through you and I that they're going to achieve whatever they will achieve. That is why you had Senior Advocate of Nigeria, Mike Ozekome, made the right statement. Mike Ozekome, tell the government, release Mazi Nnamdi Kanu if you want to have peace in the zoo. Don't tell me that releasing him is going to jeopardize the country. Release him. The only thing that can bring peace, restore peace in the zoo, in the entire zoo, not only in the southeast, in the entire zoo, the only thing that restore peace is the release of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. That is the statement of a lawyer. That is the statement of a genuine lawyer. You don't have to be telling people to calm down, don't do this, calm down. Calming us down for what? Why are you calming us down? For what? How are you calming us down? When you have nothing to offer. When it is very, very clear that we are dealing with Pharaoh, a stubborn Pharaoh that can never, ever step down until you do something extraordinary. Just as our spokesperson says yesterday, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu was extraordinarily rendition to Nigeria. Do you know what it means to get engaged in extraordinary rendition? You know what it means? To go and go against the international law, go against African state law, go against your own law itself. Extraordinary commitment, extraordinary offense was committed to bring Mazi Nnamdi Kanu into the zoo. Extraordinary criminal, extraordinary offense was committed to bring Mazi Nnamdi Kanu into the, and you think they will just leave him like that? And you think after taking all those risks, against international law, against African state law, against Nigerian law, and you think those criminals who are those Fulanis, those cabals, you think they will just leave Mazi Nnamdi Kanu and let him go like that? You must be joking. You must be joking. Just as Mazi Samareko has said, the only thing that is going to release our Supreme Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is extraordinary measures. And we are going to implement those extraordinary measures. The Biafran people, you and I, we implement that extraordinary measure. That is why you must pay attention to every information that is coming from the dragon. Every single information you hear today is very, very important. You must not play with it. Do not play with any information you hear from the dragon or all the autopiloted platforms. Every autopiloted platform, every information you hear from, don't take it for a joke. Share their videos. Share it and let it go viral. We are going to engage in doing extraordinary things to make sure that Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is released. That is why you must have to support anything you can for the coming of Biafra in 110 days. Mazi Nnamdi Kanu made it clear to us that the coming of Biafra will be the last miracle on the planet Earth. That miracle is about to happen. You are going to be part of that miracle. That miracle is part of the extraordinary measure we are going to take to make sure that Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is being released. That very part is one of the extraordinary measures we must take to make sure that Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is being released. It is not a joke. And when Mazi Simon Ekpa was talking about taking an extraordinary measure, I begin to refer myself back. I begin to recollect the story of Moses and Pharaoh. Before Moses could be able to take the children of Israel out of the land of Egypt into promised land, he took an extraordinary measure. He took an extraordinary miracle to take them away from the land of Egypt. After all the miracle he did in the presence of Pharaoh, after all the magic he performed, after everything that was done in the presence of Pharaoh, did he allow them to go? He never allowed them. Until at the minute when Pharaoh began to see death in his own household. Until when Pharaoh began to see death in his own household, that was when Pharaoh let the children of Israel to go. And even as at that, Pharaoh didn't stop at that. He still chased them to the Red Sea. And they were all swallowed. When we are talking about extraordinary measure, water pro max to everybody that is standing against the coming of Biafra. And I remind you, when I say the coming of Biafra, that is the coming of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. The automatic freedom of Mazi, the genuine freedom of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is the coming of Biafra. I say it and I say it again. The genuine freedom of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is the coming of Biafra. I don't want a freedom that you give him tomorrow. He will be answerable to the zoo again. And tomorrow somebody will call him the zoo to come and explain. I don't want that kind of freedom. That is not the kind of freedom I wish for Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. I don't want the kind of freedom they gave me in 2015 where they begin to chase him around and begin to pursue him all up and down. That is not the freedom I wish for Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. My dream for Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is a total freedom where he will not be answerable to anybody. And that is the freedom Mazi Nnamdi Kanu said he wants. That's the freedom of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu pursued. That is why Mazi Nnamdi Kanu said, I don't care what happens. I give my life. If my life will bring freedom, let it go. That is what Mazi Nnamdi Kanu said in his own word. That if it is his own life that is going to bring Biafra, so be it. What does that imply? That implies that the only thing that matters to Mazi Nnamdi Kanu that can grant him a genuine freedom is what? Biafra. So wherever you are watching from, as a Biafran, anything you can do, any contribution, whatever you know you can do to make sure that Biafra comes. If you love Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, start doing it now, not tomorrow. Listen and listen clear. We must do extraordinary things. Our spokesperson, Mazi Simon Ekpa, have announced so many extraordinary things we must do in civil disobedience. He has announced the economic sanction on the zoo when he talks about stopping them from taking the resources from Biafra land to anybody, anywhere. That is one of the extraordinary measures we must take. And this extraordinary measure will be carried out by human beings, not animals. These extraordinary measures will be taken by human beings, not animals. Everybody that is watching, any place you're watching from, you must prepare yourself to take an extraordinary measure. I want you to always remember that word. That very word that Mazi Simon Ekpa used yesterday. That Mazi Nnamdi Kanu was renditioned into the zoo extraordinarily. Extraordinary rendition. And for you to bring him out, it must take extraordinary measure. Put that word into your heart. You're welcome, my beloved brother Maxwell. I thank you so much for joining. I appreciate you. Thank you for joining. That word was very straight and direct. That Mazi Nnamdi Kanu was extraordinarily renditioned to the zoo. And for him to be free, it needs an extraordinary measure to be taken. Every one of you must pay attention to the time that we're in. You must pay attention to what is going on. You must don't allow anybody to distract. It doesn't matter whom the person is. It doesn't matter how close you are to him. It doesn't matter. This moment that we are in is a time to take extraordinary measure. They have already orchestrated a plan to keep Mazi Nnamdi Kanu incommunicado. They have already orchestrated a plan to keep Mazi Nnamdi Kanu incommunicado, to keep him under lock and key. They have concluded a plan to make sure they hold Mazi Nnamdi Kanu for as long as they desire, and the legal team has nothing to offer to that. They don't have any answer to that. And the legal team, especially now that they have a mole among them, they have nothing to do to make sure that things are straightened up. You heard when he was trying to explain to us what transpired in the court. He said in his own word that Binta Nyako said that her court have lacked jurisdiction on the case of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. And I ask again, just as my spokesperson Mazi Samaneko asked, when you don't have jurisdiction in the case, why then will you continue to try that very case? After confessing that you don't have jurisdiction over the case, why then do you still have that case in the table? Why do you still have that file? Why do you now adjourn that same case to be heard again? For what reason? And the adjournment doesn't have a adjourn to indefinite. Because when you listen to him clearly, you see, sometimes it is very good that after all those their useless press statement or whatever, that people who know better, we analyze it. There are so many things, so many little things that we ignore in their speech, that when it is being analyzed, you begin to see through the loopholes, begin to see through their games. Mazi Simon Ekpa is a lawyer himself. He's a legal practitioner. So he can explain more. There is no kind of lie or propaganda or tricks that you use, any language you use, legal terms to deceive people that he will not understand. You told us that you don't have jurisdiction to try a case. When you don't have a jurisdiction to try the case, in a simple language, even somebody who is not educated will understand that you don't have jurisdiction to try the case. That means you are not qualified to try the case. That means you are not qualified in any way to talk about that case anymore. Then, since you know that you are not qualified to talk about it, why is that case still on your table? Why are you now adjourning the case indefinite? And yet, the people who claim to be lawyers, who claim to know better, could not be able to argue that point. And they came out. They embraced that very indefinite adjournment. And they came out and they began to announce to us that the court was adjourned indefinitely. And they are announcing it as a victory. That is the funniest thing. When this man comes, he will announce it as a victory. He will say, Umu Chineke, we have won again. What did you win? What? That Mazi Nnamdi Kanu court case has been adjourned indefinitely without a date. Is that a victory? Is that a victory? How is that a victory? That Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is still in the DSS. How is that a victory? After Mazi Nnamdi Kanu have pronounced innocent, after all the cases have been quashed, there is no case against Mazi Nnamdi. They are still holding him, and you are announcing victory. How is that a victory? How? Just tell me. And all you got to say is, Mazi, you come and tell the Biafran people to stay calm. Stay calm. Mazi Nnamdi Kanu will come out. Stay calm. When? Stay calm. He's going to come out. You see, all this while, we have been seeing a lot of things happening that people ignore. So many things have been happening all this while. When he will come out and say, we didn't know when the case of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu was fixed, all of a sudden, they tell us in the night, we woke up and we saw it. They called us at the midnight, at the downtime, and we were not told, nothing was told about. What a shame. In a high-profile case like that case of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, in a high-profile case like that of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, the lawyer wouldn't be informed about anything. He will only hear about the case in the court. Sometimes he doesn't even know where the court will hold. And he's bold to talk about it and speak about it. I'm not surprised the way they are intimidating him or whatever he's going through, because even when you see him facing interview in the media, the way ordinary media men, ordinary presenters, the way presenters oppress him in the media review, you're wondering. When I watch the way he grants press, when he go to conventional media, the way he grants press interview, the way the press men oppress him, I'll be wondering, how will this man be able to defend Mazi Nnamdi Kanu in the law court? Somebody who cannot even face a presenter, a conventional media presenter, a journalist. You can't face a journalist to answer a question. If you cannot focus on a journalist and answer a question, is it a judge in a court or a fellow lawyer that can be able to defend? Is it in the court that you can be able to make a statement that will have weight? All these things we have been seeing for a very long time, but we didn't want to talk about it because we were waiting for the right time. Because in autopilot, Chukwu Okeke Abiama is in charge, and Chukwu Okeke Abiama has given us a spokesperson. We cannot run faster than our shadow. We wait for our spokesman to talk. And whatever our spokesperson says, then we carry it on from there. Today, you have seen the revelation that our spokesperson, Mazi Simon Ekpa, is making. A mind-blowing revelation. Some of them will be coming and say, they said it. You said it, didn't make any sense, because everything you see that Simon Ekpa is talking about today, he has known about it for a very long time, but he was giving them time to repent while he gathered more information. That is one thing with Simon Ekpa. Some people will see him as he's being slow, he's not taking action. Some will say, we said it before, I didn't want to do. Why are you talking about it now? Mazi Simon Ekpa will always say a word when he has to say it. And some of you who come to preach and say that Biafra is a spirit. Biafra is a spirit, truly a spirit. But do you understand the spiritual things when they begin to happen? You wouldn't. When spiritual things are happening, in as much as you preach it and you shout Biafra is a spirit, Biafra is a spirit, when spiritual things are happening, you can't key in. You won't understand it. You won't understand it. But I thank Chukwu Okeke Abiama. I thank Chukwu Okeke Abiama that he gave us somebody who is spiritually sound. Mazi Nnamdi Kanu was a very spiritually sound person. That is why anything he says comes to pass. He doesn't just predict something. Whatever Mazi Nnamdi Kanu tells you, with the exact word, it comes to pass. Because he works with Chukwu Okeke Abiama. He works with time, and he doesn't play with informations. In the same vein today, Mazi Simon Ekpa listens to the word of Chukwu Okeke Abiama. He works with time. He doesn't play with time. He doesn't work based on information that people give him. He doesn't work based on propaganda and blackmail. And that is why blackmail and propaganda doesn't work on him. It doesn't work on him. No matter your propaganda, your blackmail, it can never work on him. Today you see how they have been decimated. You see how they have all been destroyed. Every single one of them who have been pushing lies and propaganda against Mazi Simon Ekpa. Today they have all in disgrace. They have all been disgraced. They can't hide anymore. And I tell you, more people are going to go down. Unless they repent. Unless they repent, more people will go down. More people are going to go down. Today, a chapter has been opened on the legal team, the mole in the legal team. And I remind you again, we are not fighting against the legal team of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. Mazi Nnamdi Kanu has a right for legal team to represent him. We are not fighting against the legal team. There must be a legal team to represent Mazi Nnamdi Kanu in the zoo. And that legal team are the people working under the constitution of the zoo. Because the zoo remains a country and there's a constitution that is guiding them. So whoever represents Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is representing Mazi Nnamdi Kanu based on the constitution of the zoo. It is a very different thing between them and those of us who are fighting for our freedom from the zoo. It is a different ballgame. And for you and I who are fighting for our freedom, we do not have to play that same game they are playing. And they must not try to come and play our own role. They can't. They can't do that. Anybody you see playing an agitator at the same time playing with the zoo law, his president's law, is a mole. It's a mole. The only thing it shows you is that that person is serving the caliphate. There's no doubt that maybe there was a time when he was doing well. There's no doubt about that there was a time when he was doing well. That people recognize that. But as it stands today, he's no longer in line. He's no longer in line. And I will refer you back to what Mazi Simon Ekpa said, that in the betrayal of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, so many people are involved. There are people who were involved from the day one, who sat down and made that plan. There are people who collected money to make sure that Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is betrayed. And there are people who had it afterwards. And when they had it afterward, they killed him. And they killed him and they were settled. And there are some other people who had it. They were not part of the kidnapping. But when they had it, because of the anger, because of the hatred they had of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, they killed it to that evil agenda. And they begin to push that propaganda. And today, You see every one of them coming out. Some of them, even some people whom Mazen Nnamdi Kanu himself told us never to listen to. Some who were fighting against Mazen Nnamdi Kanu when he was with us. Every one of them have come out today to claim to be IPOB. But I tell you, Mazen Nnamdi Kanu said that IPOB is indestructible. And that word is strong. Today, IPOB is still standing, autopiloted by Chukwu Okike Abiama. The IPOB established by Mazen Nnamdi Kanu, it is standing firm, and they are in charge. That IPOB established by Mazen Nnamdi Kanu today is being autopiloted by Chukwu Okike Abiama himself under the spokesmanship of Mazen Simon Ekpa and on the leadership of Mazen Nnamdi Kanu. You can't destroy it. You cannot destroy it. Mazen Nnamdi Kanu knows very well, and that is why when he says a word, he knows what he's saying. Mazen Nnamdi Kanu told you, you cannot destroy IPOB. And that was why, after he was kidnapped, he told them, go and tell Mazen Simon Ekpa to pilot the affairs of the IPOB. A direct message. Go and tell Mazen Simon Ekpa to pilot the affairs of IPOB until I join you again. Instead of them delivering that message, the criminal came and told them that Mazen Nnamdi Kanu has a mental problem. Mazen Nnamdi Kanu has a mental problem, and he diverted that very information and twisted it. He twisted it to favor himself and for his own selfish interest. And Mazen Simon Ekpa all this while didn't want to blow things out of proportion. He kept silent. Let it not be as if he's fighting for his own personal interest. Let it not be that he's fighting to be a leader. Let it not be that he's fighting to rule or be known. Even when some group came together to make their vote and make Mazen Simon Ekpa the leader, he said, no, I can't be your leader. That Mazen Nnamdi Kanu remains the leader of the struggle wherever he is. The leader of the struggle remains Mazen Nnamdi Kanu. It doesn't matter wherever he is. He remains the leader of the struggle. And he says, any day Mazen Nnamdi Kanu comes out, that everything will be handed over to him to continue. If you don't understand it, he went ahead to call himself disciple of Mazen Nnamdi Kanu, spiritual son of Mazen Nnamdi Kanu on Biafra restoration. He made it very clear. Disciple of Mazen Nnamdi Kanu on Biafra restoration. Spiritual son of Mazen Nnamdi Kanu on Biafra restoration. And he went further to tell you that I go to the heart of Mazen Nnamdi Kanu to take information and give to you. And it is not just because he said it. Go and check all he has been doing since Mazen Nnamdi Kanu was kidnapped up to today. Since Mazen Nnamdi Kanu was kidnapped up to this day, every single thing that Mazen Simon Ekpa is doing is what Mazen Nnamdi Kanu would have done if he's with us. Even more. Every step he takes, the same step is what Mazen Nnamdi Kanu would have taken. Or more. Dear friends, you must pay attention to the time that we are in. Always have it at the back of your mind that extraordinary measure is the only thing that will release Mazen Nnamdi Kanu. Today, they have planned to keep Mazen Nnamdi Kanu in detention indefinitely. That is what the announcement they made last means. Indefinitely. A case was adjourned without a date given. And the person that adjourned the case do not have any jurisdiction to try the case. The person that adjourned the case do not have jurisdiction to try the case. And yet, he adjourned it indefinitely. This is their strategy they want to use to do whatever they want to do to Mazen Nnamdi Kanu. Are you going to allow it? I ask you, Biafrans, will you allow such evil plan to continue to take place? Are you going to allow such evil plan to flourish? I ask you as a Biafran. Will you allow such evil plan to keep Mazen Nnamdi Kanu incommunicado, to keep Mazen Nnamdi Kanu indefinitely in the DSS? Would you allow that to happen? We cannot allow that to happen. And what are we going to do? We are going to do extraordinary things, collectively and individually. Collectively and individually. If you know anything you can do, every civil disobedience that the dragon have mentioned, I tell you, so many of us who are Biafrans watching, Chukwu Okike Abiama has placed something in your heart. That is why I always urge people, share this video. You never know who this video can meet. Share this video so that every Biafran and Biafran friends will begin to read and watch and hear. It is going to wake up a lot of people. It is our responsibility to begin to do something. Don't wait. Don't wait. That thing that Chukwu Okike Abiama is putting in your heart to do, this is the time. That action that Chukwu Okike is, let me tell you, Master Simon can mention a lot of things. The economic sanction to the zoo. The economic sanction have been mentioned on different occasions, on several ways. There was a time we talked about stop paying your dues, stop paying any tax to the zoo. We talked about stoppage of paying any form of tax to the zoo. And recently, the Dragon have announced we have to stop the refining of oil, to taking of our wealth in Biafra land to any direction. Every explosion of oil in Biafra land must have to be halted. We cannot allow them to continue to extract oil for our land. And at the same time, they will be killing us, they will be using the money against us and be destroying our lives. This is the time. Our brothers in the Niger Delta area, our brothers in the creek, they have to hear this message and do the needful. Those are our brothers in the mainland, you hear this message and you do the needful. As for election, you and I know that the election is not going to hold. That one is no longer a big thing. It's no longer something to begin to worry about. Election can never ever hold in Biafra land. That one is certain. Even in Nigeria itself, there is no sign of election holding. So that one is a done deal. This is not an Anambra election. This is not like an Anambra election. Now we know why Anambra election held. Now we know where the division is, why there is division in the IPOB. Now we know the genesis of the problem. Why we are saying a different thing, some people are saying a different thing altogether. Now we see why it is possible, why it was so easy for some people to go and see Mazen Nnamdi Kanu, even without the knowledge of anybody. Now we have seen why it is easy for some politicians to just go and see Mazen Nnamdi Kanu to promote themselves, and after that, nothing more. All of you remember when Soludo went to see Mazen Nnamdi Kanu. He went there to advertise himself. They changed his clothes and they snapped pictures and posted. After then, up to now, then what? What have changed? When Soludo went to visit Mazen Nnamdi Kanu, since then till now, what have changed? What have changed? Is it not still the same thing that's happening? Even worse situation. Why we were saying no Anambra election? We didn't know that the mole in the legal team was busy rapporting with the politicians, taking money, just as they are doing now. They have already assured the zoo that they are going to hold the election. They have already assured the governors that they're going to calm Biafrans down. But it is too late. I thank Chukwu Okike Abiama for the dragon. He fires at the right time. And when the dragon spits the fire, he must definitely get a target. You can't stand the fire of the dragon. You can't stand it. It doesn't matter how strong you think you are. It doesn't matter how intelligent, the kind of support it. You can't stand it. You can't stand it. When the dragon spits fire, it's going to get you. It's going to catch you. It's going to catch up with you. No matter who you think you are, or no matter under which disguise you are definitely going to go down. And today, I bet you that this man will never remain the same. Ifeanyi Ejiofor will never ever remain the same. He will never remain the same. And he has been busted. Completely busted. And I bet you, our spokesperson, man, somebody can still have more information that will blow your mind. Just wait and see. More information. You haven't seen nothing yet. You will hear a lot of things that's going to blow your mind. But we are waiting. We are here waiting and watching. I'll be following his Master Simon Ekpa. Once he makes the exposition, then we can pick up from there to enlighten the Biafran people. But today, the major thing you have to go out from in this very broadcast today, I want you to take home. Your take home in this broadcast today is to put at the back of your mind that Biafrans, we must do an extraordinary thing to free Mazen Nnamdi Kanu. That is your take home from this broadcast. We must do extraordinary thing to free Mazen Nnamdi Kanu. Because the kidnapping of Mazen Nnamdi Kanu was not done ordinary. It was through an extraordinary measure. As they took that extraordinary measure to kidnap Mazen Nnamdi Kanu, they will not leave him except we do something that is extraordinary. You are going to play a part. I will play a part. Every single one of us will play a part in doing extraordinary things to make sure that Mazen Nnamdi Kanu is released. And as soon as we do that, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is going to join us. No man born of a woman can stop that. This plan they are making to keep Mazi Nnamdi Kanu indefinite in detention, we will not allow it. We will not allow it. And we will not just say we won't allow it and keep silent. You have to start doing something. Every Biafran, wherever you are on the planet Earth, start doing something. Don't tell me that there is something you can do. There is something you can do. Water Promas is still going on. The ESN are still there. The ESN are still there working around the clock. And our countdown continues. Prepare yourself for tougher days ahead. You know, I always speak about the tough days ahead. I don't want to make it look very light and simple for you so that you wouldn't say you are not told. I want every Biafran to get prepared for difficult tasks ahead. It is not going to be easy. We are fighting against people who has the whole money. They have all the equipment, they have all the connection, they have all the money, they have all the contact. But we have Chukwu Okike Abiama, and one with God is majority. That is why we are not afraid. They might have all the weapons, they might have all the ammunitions, they might have everything, but we have Chukwu Okike Abiama by our side, and one with God is majority. When the Israelites were fighting for their independence, they had nothing. Nobody was with them, and they fought for it and they got it. And today, they are the strongest nation you can think of on the planet Earth. There is no place to go. No government exists without them. And the last miracle on the planet Earth is about to happen. The emergence of the Biafra. The coming of Biafra is going to be the liberation of the whole black race. And it can never be business as usual anymore. That is why they are fighting it on different fronts. That is why they are using the Fulani Caliphate to fight against the Biafra to oppress us. They are using foreigners who are not even, this is the most painful part. These people are foreigners. They are not even Nigerians. They are not even Nigerians. And the indigenous people are sitting back, watching these few foreigners that came into Nigeria to take over and begin to manipulate everybody. People who were given opportunities to have a place to settle. Instead of them coming down to adjust themselves to the system, they took over and they are bent on destroying innocent lives on a daily basis, wasting the life of the indigenous people. And you think it's okay? And you keep silent and you are watching? How long will you continue to watch? How long will you? I thank Chukwu Okike Abiama for our Oduduwa brothers. Our Oduduwa brothers have seen the light. They have seen it and seen it clear. And that is why they have come boldly in the open to merge with the Biafran people. Today, our Oduduwa people, we are speaking on the same voice. The Oduduwa people are even saying that they cannot wait until 2023. That they can never enter 2023 with the zoo. They are going to 2023 as Oduduwa people. Pronounced and announced. Unstoppable. That is what every indigenous tribe is supposed to be doing. But I thank you, Okama, because in that zoo, the leading people you can see is the Oduduwa and Biafra. These are the leading tribes. The Oduduwa people and the Biafra. If Oduduwa and Biafra could have the kind of unity they have now, they are unstoppable. And that is why when we are talking about the coming of Biafra, we are not shaking. Because with Oduduwa and Biafra united is the front. Who are you? Who the hell is that in that zoo that will stop us? Who are you? Who are you to stop the Oduduwa and the Biafrans when they want to get out of the zoo? When they march together, as they have marched together, you can't do shit. You can't do shit. And that is where our spokesperson, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, have done a marvelous work. That is where he keyed in from the foundation of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. Every bridges that Mazi Nnamdi Kanu have built in the zoo, all those bridges, he began to touch them. There are so many other alliances that has not been announced yet. So many alliances that have not been announced yet. Talk about the unity and consultation in Biafra land. Every armed group in Biafra land. Every armed group in the, when I'm talking Biafra land, I mean the old southeastern region, the present south and the southeast of the lower Benue. Every armed groups, they are now speaking in one voice. And when I talk about armed groups, I talk about genuine armed groups. I'm not talking about cultist group. I'm not talking about criminals. I'm not talking about gangsters. I'm talking about people that are fighting for freedom. Genuine people fighting for freedom in Biafra land that are armed. They are all in one accord, speaking in one voice. All we are waiting is a time. As we are doing the countdown, 110 days to go. You are going to hear the music. No man born of a woman can stop it. Biafra will come. Definitely, it is going to come. The only thing you can do for yourself today is to key in. If you are not yet prepared, begin to prepare yourself. If you are in Biafra, prepare yourself for the days ahead. Biafra is coming. Prepare yourself. Get the necessary instruments you need to get. Put things around you. Put things around you. Anything you know you can use to protect yourself. Bring them closer to you. Get food stocks. Make sure you're not taken by surprise. I tell you, going into Biafra in 110 days is a done deal. It's a done deal. That is why you see these parts that the dragon is touching today is the finishing touches. All those hindrances, all those loopholes that's going to drag us back, all those imposters that's going to drag us back, he's pushing all of them aside. More especially in that legal team, that man is mentioning him, that Ifeanyi Ejiofor. He has been the one coming, including our men on the ground. Some of our men on the ground believe that he's doing the right thing, believe that he was with Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. You see, that is why it is imperative sometimes that Mazi Simon Ekpa makes some exposition so that people can come back to their senses. Because you don't blame people. Some people have different level of understanding. Level of understanding is different. Everybody have different level of understanding. That is why people that understand better, who know better, will take out their time to come and educate those who do not understand. Very important. That people who do not understand should come out and educate those who don't understand. And it helps a lot. So it doesn't matter what anybody says. We will continue until Biafra come. They have started attacking. They have started attacking. And I'm going to end the program. If they continue to attack, I'll end the program so that we'll come back tomorrow. And thank God I have been able to shift my message and preach all the message I have to preach. And tomorrow we'll continue with this broadcast. Thank you so much and remain blessed.